Hi everyone, welcome back to Founder Focus, the short video series where we take a deep dive inside the mind of interesting founders, explore their journeys and pull out insights and advice for the entire founder community. As usual, my co-host Matt Mower is with me today. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm great, Tom. Thank you. How are you?
Very good, very good. It's a Monday morning as we're recording and all is bright and bushy. And this week we have with us Catherine Ann Reid, founder of Doqit, the life admin platform. So we're talking web platforms, we're talking tech startups. Catherine Ann, it's lovely to have you with us. How are you doing today?
I'm great. What a great way to kick off the week. Thank you for having me.
Excellent stuff. Let's get to it. As usual, Matt's got the questions. Matt, over to you.
Brilliant. Great to have you with us, Catherine. So question one, what was the light bulb moment that looking back seems most significant to you in starting off your founder's journey?
So do you know, I'm not sure there was a singular light bulb moment, if I'm honest. I think there was a couple of things. And I think the light bulb moment would have been the inability to find something to help me when I was at an absolute point of crisis, when I felt I was swimming in treacle with my life administration. So that would have been the initial light bulb moment. But then fast forward a couple of years, which when paper moved more into digital, that was when the light shone, if you like, and I thought, someone's going to crack this problem. Why not me?
And what was it that led you to think, why not me? I mean, because I don't know, I guess that like us, you're probably somebody with lots of ideas, any one of you can pursue. What was it particularly about this one that made you think, this is something I want to throw my life at?
That's a great question, Matt, and I'm glad you've asked it. So I was overwhelmed I was a working mum, a lone parent of a child with complex additional needs. So what I found was I had paperwork, I had what I call piles, files and clouds everywhere. And what that resulted in was me paying my tax return late for 3 years in the bounce. So that cost me money that I didn't have, and constantly having this niggling feeling at the back of my mind that something was due, something was overdue. There was always that mild panic. And to be honest, I never wanted anyone to feel this way, because you know what? We're only here for a short time, so it should be a good time, not a stressful time.
So piles, files and clouds.
Piles, files and clouds.
Okay, so anybody struggling with piles, files and clouds, they now know where to go. Brilliant. So question two, I think like us, you are still exploring product market fits. What have you learned about how you explore product market fit?
That's another great question. For me, finding product market fit is tricky, because if you think about where we are in the world of helping people with their life admin, everyone has life admin. So therefore, what the sort of temptation is to say is, hey, we're for everyone. And when you say you're for everyone, you're for no one. So we've tried a couple of things with our product market fit, and I think we're getting there. So we looked at SMEs, so small businesses with employees, but the reason that didn't work so well was we needed a ton of SMEs and a ton of marketing. Now there's only 2 of us, so trying to do that marketing, do the research that's involved, it required a completely different level of resource. So what we did was we pressed pause. And it was a temporary pause on, right, okay, so what have we learned from having gone down that route? And what we learned was that a great place for us to be is employees. So where we are at now with our product market fit is that we are currently on a few of the larger employee benefit platforms. Because if you think, a lot of people within the employee benefit platforms are busy working parents. So we're finding that if you're a busy working parent, that's an ideal match for Doqit. So we're exploring that just now, and we've got some things right, but every day we're learning. And I think it's that continual researching of the users, as much as, again, it comes down to resource when you're a startup, as much as you possibly can. But why do they need Doqit? Why are they coming to us is the most important question that we are asking. What is it they're looking for now, and what are they going to be looking for in the future?
Catherine, from what you were just saying there, something just popped into my mind, which is very much that we see life admin as sort of staving off issues. And you mentioned the story about, you know, not forgetting to pay tax returns and it costing you money. But actually, in the digital space, there's a lot of opportunity out there as well. For example, you know, things like the sort of stuff that your bank account offers you. And I've certainly felt guilty of duplicating things by not remembering that I've got certain services. So that the switch that you mentioned there feels really, really powerful, and something that actually a lot of us could benefit from, is to just see the problem we're solving in a slightly different light.
Oh, 100%. So just very quickly, a couple of stories from users. One, he and his wife were paying for Disney Plus 3 times, and it was only when he popped his subscriptions into Doqit that he found that out. Two, an investor who I pitched to said, you know, I paid 2 lots of car insurance for about 4 years. Parents who are paying for mobile phones for their kids. So there's lots of ways, and actually through setting your reminders in Doqit and getting, so not only helping you understand that you know, you might have 2 or 3 of the same thing, but going for a renewal at the right time to ensure you get the best possible price rather than it just rolling over, is where it just gives you that added bonus of stopping the £120 every month that the average family's leaking just through stuff falling through the net.
Catherine, and that's great. Given that finding product market fit for startups, early stage businesses typically is the most important thing you can do you have any advice for other founders in the same situation? Anything that you found particularly helpful in how to explore this rather than necessarily what it is?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing is don't flog the dead horse, and actually look at what your research is telling you. I mean, I had a very definite thing in my mind about who Doqit was for, and I was wrong. So it's like, look at the research and listen to it and put your ego in a bucket would be my advice.
Brilliant advice in life generally, but in this particular instance, since we've done the same thing twice now, I hardly concur. And I think this is something we should share more often with people so they can tell us you're flogging a dead horse, because it's sometimes a bit hard to see on your own. But no, I think that's a great answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Question number 3. So, what support or resource has been most significant in helping you on your founder journey?
That's a really easy question to answer. The best support I have had has been from other founders. People who I never knew before I started this journey give incredible support, because it's almost like a little cult where people want to give you they want to tell you their war stories, and they want to share those war stories in order that you don't do the same thing. So for me, that has been, without a shadow of a doubt, the best support that I've had. And obviously my husband and my daughter, but from that real value point of view to the business, other founders.
So obviously we're all part of Startup Standup, so no surprises we get some of that there. Is there any other sort of community that you found sort of helpful in that regard?
Yeah, so I'm part of a couple of communities that I find really helpful. So the Startup Standup is great because you have founders from various parts of the journey, some exited. Female Founders Rise, which was set up about a year ago, which is female founders. Again, that's a very supportive community, women at different levels in their business, but it's all about helping each other and break through the glass ceiling, actually. There's a couple of other smaller communities, but I think they're the two where I get the most support from, for sure. And Founder Catalyst, I should, it would be wrong not to mention the Founder Catalyst community that Sam has built, which aligns well with the Startup to Stand-Up.
Yeah, I think there's quite an overlap both of people, but also of quality of advice on offer.
Yeah, and both offer really good, honest support, and it's a trustworthy communities where you know that whatever you ask is never going to leak out and for somebody to try and trip you up and make you look a bit daft.
Yeah, that's really worth something. Thank you. Question 4. What's the most surprising thing that you've found on your journey so far?
So again, this comes back to who your supporters are. When you start off in this journey, you think your friends, your family are going to have your back. The most surprising thing is your biggest supporter are quite often people you have never met. And they're the ones who are your main cheerleaders. And that really was something I wasn't, when I say I wasn't ready for, it just completely took me by surprise that particularly on LinkedIn, I had people reaching out to me that I'd never met that said, I love what you're doing, how can I help? And that's phenomenal. And it's something that founders, I've heard other founders saying is your greatest cheerleaders you've yet to meet.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. For a long time, I've thought that the vision that a founder has is their best and cheapest weapon. That if you can get people to believe in the change you're trying to make, you find supporters from all over the place. And often founders keep their vision sort of locked away somewhere rather than telling people about it. So brilliant, that's great.
Thank you, Matt, for mentioning belief. As someone who belief is at the core of what I do, I can do nothing but big up that suggestion.
And can I just add something you said about it's almost like don't hide your light under a bushel. Get your vision out there, tell people, because actually if you only share within your family and friends, quite often they'll say, that's great, that's amazing, but actually you do need to know that strangers, people you've never met, because they're going to be your customers, you need to hear what they think.
I agree. I think one of the most valuable things you can do actually is keep putting it out there, because it's how other people keep reflecting it back to you. Yeah. And especially when you get that sort of critical mass of saying, oh, I've asked 5 people something and 3 didn't seem to get it, but the 2 people there, they said the same thing, and you start to see the commonalities of what the strength of your message and your proposition really is. And once you start to hear that multiple times, you start realizing when you're on the right track. Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. So a last question. What's the North Star you are currently aiming towards?
Our North Star, Matt, is to get 1,000 active users onto Doqit. Obviously, we've got a greater vision, but right now, that's where we need to be.
Brilliant. And how did you arrive at 1,000?
It gives us the metrics we need for when we're looking at investment. And also, from a research point of view, it's given us a sufficient demographic reach of users that we are going to build Doqit, the next phase, that's going to suit our users as a decent amount of users as opposed to just a handful.
What I like about what you just said, Catherine Ann, is it's about that having that clear intention for every phase of work, rather than just going, let's just try and grow it in that sort of nebulous way. You go, let's get to here, because when we're here, we should be able to measure this and this and this, and then go again.
Yeah. And obviously, as part of our growth plan, we need to understand exactly what our users, what they want at every single stage of the journey, to ensure that what we're not doing is building a turkey with 3 heads.
Yes, no one needs one of those.
Thank you, Catherine Ann. some really stimulating answers to those questions.
Thank you, Matt. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed speaking with you both.
Excellent stuff. Thanks, everybody. And I hope that's been a really useful conversation for the founder community. You can join us at Startup to Stand Up to have many more conversations like this. But for now, it's goodbye from us.